So good morning, beautiful people. How are you all doing this morning? How is life feeling for you? How are you with your anxiety levels, your stress levels? Because today I'm going to be talking about energy and feeling it in the body and why that is important. Whenever I have my clients with me, and most of them come to me because it's all started with anxiety and the stress of life, which I would say predominantly is what everybody is going through on some level, some worse than others, some handle it better than others. But I am here to show you a simple way in which you can start to tap into your energy field, because everything is energy. And if we are energy and the world around us is energy, it means that we actually have some control over how it all manages us and our life. So today it's going to be literally how to check in with yourself. And this could be any point of the day. We are shallow breathing all day long. We don't even realize it. And what that means is that when you are shallow breathing and you're not taking a big deep inhale, what happens is you are in a stressed state. It means that your body is in fight or flight and ready to run from the tiger. So cortisol is rushing around your body. Now, let me explain. When you are shallow breathing all the time, and this is the way we run our life, we even forget to be breathing. We're just breathing and we think that that's okay. And it isn't, because our life has become back-to-back stuff to do. So we've got family to deal with, children, if young children at home. We've got our parents. As we're getting older, we're perhaps having to look after parents. We've got a job that we have to go to. Then we come home. We've got the home to deal with, and it can all get very, very rushed and very busy if we allow it. So what can happen is we're not paying attention to what is going on in our body, which is paramount. At the end of the day, if we are not paying attention to our body, and then we wonder why all these difficult events keep showing up in our life, then we're not paying attention. So if we're not paying attention, you are going to get sick, and you're not even going to realize it because you weren't paying attention way back when it started. I know I did it with fibromyalgia, and I wasn't paying attention. And if you're not paying attention, and aches and pains were coming up a long time before they got really serious. And the minute that you start to notice is when you start looking at it and going, okay, so how can I start to help this? But if you're not paying attention, then it's been creeping up on you for many years, okay? Especially as we women get to our 45 mark, roughly 45 mark, when we start recognizing that there's things going on that, that's predominantly when we get fibromyalgia and all these other autoimmune issues, sleepless nights. I could go on, but I'm not going to. That'll be overwhelming for everybody. So all I'm going to say is that when we check in with ourselves, we're going to start to recognize that things were happening a long time before we now know that we really are having a problem with it. And what we've got is this underlying stress that is always there, and it's just, you've forgotten, your body's forgotten how good it feels, by the way, to feel relaxed, because you've got so used, you've moved that marker, so you are now in this underlying stress all the time, and you don't even realize it because you weren't paying attention when it first started. So now what happens is the big stressor is okay, but it's going to feel 10 times worse. But the big stressor goes up. That could be grief. That could be a major incident happens in the family. It could just be that stress at work suddenly got really huge. And that's okay, because that one comes back down again eventually at some point. But what happens if you've still got that underlying stress that is continually there? you never escape it. And when you don't escape it, what happens is you're staying in that cortisol and stress state all the time. So shallow breathing is also telling you that you need to be in survival mode. And your brain, your left brain, is telling you that you're in survival mode. And it's trying to save you even more so when a feeling comes up. So something happens outside of you, or something in your head, suddenly all these thousands of thoughts that we have every day, suddenly something happens, or somebody says something, or something on the TV, or an event in the news, or something triggers it, and suddenly you're right back there. Your brain says, I need to save you, and you keep going into this feeling of stress all the time, because we don't know. Half the time we don't even know what all our issues are from our our own life as a child. Even in the womb we were taking on other people's stuff. Okay, these are all downloads that we've had, and generational stuff. And again, we don't need to know. We don't need to know. Okay, so park that. We do not need to know. But if you are aware of that, you realize that every day is a potential to dissolve some of those past things, those past events, those past anxieties, stress, fears. Okay, so you don't need to live with this underlying energetic, it's a very low energy that we hold on to. Fear is a very low energy. Okay, and I'm only going to talk about fear, because if we break it down, it becomes shame, guilt, sorrow, we're not forgiving someone, it's huge. But fear, there's only love and fear in my world. So forget all the rest, there's only love and fear. So if we're living in a state of fear every single day, and then we're just escaping it by the next sweet fix, or the next meal fix, which helps you to, could be full of carbs because it fills you up and it makes you feel better, short-term hit. All of those escape. We go on our holidays. Nothing wrong with going on our holidays, except are you escaping the life that is stressful? And that's the problem. So we have to look very carefully. If we start to heal our body, then we're going to start to feel better, and our life is going to feel easier. So breathing is a major part of this. So when we start to take deeper inhales, deeper breaths, and we slow things down, then that's when the brain starts to calm down. So this is where meditation comes in. This is where mindfulness comes in. Because guess what? You can slow everything you do down, get everything still done, but in between you are taking 3-minute breaks, and you could do that every hour, where you remind yourself with your watch, with your phone, with a notification on your phone. It doesn't, whatever you need to do to remind yourself that every hour, I would do it even more than that, by the way, every half hour, you get up. If you can, you get up. If you're sitting at a computer, I do a lot of sitting at a computer as well as seeing clients. So it's kind of, you do have to make a concerted effort to do this. Whether you go off for a wee, whether you go off and make a cup of tea, whether you just go and take a break and just walk, go in the garden, go outside, go and look out of a window, where you can just put your hands over your heart space and literally take some really slow, deep inhales up through your nose and out through your nose, and just count to 6. You could do 4 breaths in, you could do 6 breaths out. Now you could do out going through your mouth, but I prefer just to focus on breathing in. So the inhale through your nose and out through your nose. And you breathe into your heart space, because that's your main energy field, in your heart space. That's kind of, I always look at that as the core. That's my love space. That's my spirit, that's my soul. Everything comes from the core of me, this central energy field that everything comes out from. So I love to focus on the heart space. So you come into the heart space, and you don't need to close your eyes if you don't want to, or if you can't, or you could be sitting on a bus, you could be sitting in the car, it doesn't matter. Just put one hand over your heart and just remind yourself to take some really deep inhales up through your nose and out through your nose. In for the count of 4 and out for the count of 6. And then what's happening is now you're reminding your head, you're reminding your brain it doesn't need to keep you safe. You are safe all the time. You are always protected, and you are always being cared for, always. It's not just you sitting in the car. You have this massive energy field, loving energy field running through you, around you at all times. You are always being protected. You are always safe. But unless you take yourself away from the stress in your life by just going inwards, you don't have to literally physically leave. You don't have to walk away or anything. Just stay there. But remind yourself, hand over heart, and just inhale up through your nose and out through yours. Nice and deep, really slow. And just, how does that feel for you? Seriously, when was the last time you really truly felt connected? Connected to this bigger, beautiful energy field around you, instead of rushing from the next thing to the next thing to the next thing. You don't need to rush. Slow it down. You'll still get there, and you'll still do what you need to do. And this comes down to even doing something as simple as you go to make a cup of tea, becoming mindful. Listen to the kettle. Don't take those deep breaths while the kettle is boiling. And then as you're stirring the tea, so when you've poured the water in and you've got your teaspoon, take your time. Enjoy making that a mindful session where you feel everything. You watch the steam coming out of the cup, and you slow it down so it becomes like a ritual. Now at this point, this is taking 3 minutes to boil the kettle and make a cup of tea. And all you're doing is slowing the whole process down. 1, you're putting love into that tea. Sounds stupid, but it's the highest energy that we have. Loving energy. And you are now going to make that tea into the best tea you could have, because that will affect the way it goes into your body. So slow down the tea making process. Really feel making that tea the best tea that you could have that day. That's a 3-minute process. You feel better, you've done some breathing, and your day will be better. And you'll find that as you start to do more and more of that, that is what will start to show up in your world, where life feels just a little bit easier, a little bit slower, and you are starting to work on this underlying stress, which has always been there, because you're showing your brain that you don't need to be saved at all. You are perfectly safe in every moment. So that's your tool for today. Enjoy it. Tell me how you get on. I would love to know in the comments how you're getting on. And if you want to know anything else, you can go to my website, look at any of the other videos. More and more are going to be coming on as I get better at doing all my videos. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care. Sending you love.